America was built by hard work and heroes. The movement has begun. Now we need our heroes. The crisis is real. The numbers are terrifying. In the United States, 1 out of 5 kids is food insecure.
We never thought that number was that high.
16 million kids right now here in America are starving.
That number is insane.
It's right in our towns and it's right in our neighborhoods. It's right in our backyards.
These kids are here. They're right here in our school district. You don't know by looking at a person whether or not they're food insecure. It could be our neighbors, it could be my friends, and it could be coworkers. You just don't know.
It's something that's not as tangible. You know, you just can't look and say, oh yeah, that child looks like they need another meal. But that's what's the issue. I mean, they do need another meal. They didn't get one at home. They didn't get one on Saturday and Sunday. You know, they don't get the snacks, the healthy snacks. They grab what they can get and that's it. These children may not look any different. I mean, we're so used to the images in our mind of that little Ethiopian that's just skin and bones. And that's what we picture as food insecure and hungry and needing a meal. But in reality, a lot of these children don't look any different than the next one. But they are food insecure. You know, they may get their last meal Friday at noon in school and may not get another one other than a few snacks all weekend long until they come back on Monday. Well, you aren't going to see that physically.
It makes you look at everybody in a different light.
It's very sad knowing that there is children in our community that are food insecure.
You know, we got to stop this thing when we have a chance. And I think we have a chance.
One of the things that I hear a lot of the feedback that I get when I first bring up the idea of a Dry to Feed Kids program, especially, you know, being in all of these various rural communities across the country and seeing the overwhelming supply of food, is I don't think we really have a problem in this community. I don't know that food insecure children is a big problem, and while we can use the statistic of 1 in 5 kids nationwide, okay, maybe 1 in 5 kids nationwide, but not 1 in 5 kids in my community. And a while back, I was talking to an individual, and they lived in a very rural, food-rich production part of the country. And I brought up the idea of Dry to Feed Kids, and the individual flat told me, we have no need. Not only is this an affluent, rich rural community, everyone helps everybody in this community. There is no need. And I challenged that person to go to their school and ask, is there a need? And I didn't hear anything from the individual until about 3 months later, and I happened to see him at an industry event. And while normally this individual is very reserved, he came up to me with a big smile on his face, all excited to tell me I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea that many children in our county went home after school on Friday and had no idea where their food was going to come from until Monday. And guess what? We're doing a Dry to Feed Kids program. We're going to help those kids.
Most people don't realize there's a need out there, but holy moly, there's a big need. We found out a way larger need than we anticipated when we started the program. You know, we thought there might be 10 kids in our school. Well, there ended up being 40. You know, that was 20% of the whole population of the kids in there.
We started looking into this, and the first thing we found out is in Sioux County, a county of 36,000 people, probably one of the richest agriculture counties in the world, with livestock, beef, dairy, poultry, eggs, crops. And we had 1,200 kids that were on free and reduced lunch. 1,200 kids. We're going like, wait. That can't be right.
Being from a farm family, we always had a garden that flourished us with fruits and vegetables, and freezer full of meat, you know, from the cattle and the swine that we raised. And so I never thought there was a need in our rural community for, you know, for the children, but there is.
We found out that in the 2 counties that border us right here, Buena Vista and Clay County, there's almost 1,800 children within those 2 counties who are food insecure.
The key was you go to talk to the teachers and they tell you, you know, they just have hungry kids. They're you know, not, you know, they're not performing to their standard, and it's mostly because they're hungry all the time.
In Jackson County, 1 in 5 children are food deprived. You know, when you look at your classroom of 20 kids, knowing that 4 of them are food deficient, is food insecure, is a big number.
If you're not eating, you can't concentrate in school. You know, you can't learn. All you can think about is being hungry. How are you supposed to better yourself and elevate you out of your position if you can't concentrate in school?
45% of our students at our elementary receive free or reduced lunches. People in our community saying there isn't a need, yoo-hoo. I mean, right there should tell you something, that there's a need.
Drive to Feed Kids is a movement. It's a movement that we began with the idea of partnering with our customer base, from our suppliers, everyone in the ag industry, to go out to their local communities, because it's not just an urban setting where you think, well, maybe that's where the food insecurity lies. No, it's everywhere. It's every county, it's every town, it's rural. When people first are approached or consider the idea of starting a Drive to Feed Kids program, starting a program that help out food insecure children in their community, I think sometimes they think it's a real daunting task and not really sure how to do it. But what I have heard, and the reality of it is once they start the program, it all of a sudden becomes a lot more simple than what they expected, and for a lot of reasons. One of which is the fact that the community rallies around the idea.
It was easier than I could have expected, actually, to get support for, you know, the hunger program in our community. It just took one person to one company to lead the charge and to drive the initiative for it, and everybody got on board, and I had incredible support from all over the community.
NutriBlend has done a great job of laying everything out, what you need to do. You know, just follow the steps, and you know, it's just easy.
The very first year, we raised $34,000. We had a Drive to Feed auction. So we had people bring us products and stuff, and then we had an auction, and people engaged in that auction.
New Fresh Pork started a Jackson County Food for Kids backpack program. We use a clear plastic bag. The reason why we do this is it's something that can fit easily in the child's backpack. It's roughly 5 to 6 pounds of food for them. Probably 15 different items that we put together. Each week we try to do a variety, something different each week, whether it be a noodle or ramen. Try to get some meat and protein in there for the kids. Vegetables, eyes, and fruits. We pack the packs each week. We have a community service that comes in and picks up our totes, delivers them to the school, and then they also bring the empty totes back to us.
This year we'll be handing out about 167 sack packs. The teachers just have them in a box outside. There's a crate outside their classroom, and so there's no disruption of classes. They're just put in there, and later on when the kids are at recess, that's when teachers usually put them in their lockers for them to take them home. Again, that's done very confidentially, and I think people respect that.
We've raised at least 30% more than we thought we were gonna. Today we're just feeding the kids every weekend.
We found an organization called the Backpack Buddies here in town, and what they do is provide food on the weekends for more than 500 students who may have little or nothing to eat otherwise. So we decided to host a huge event We called it the Unite to Fight event to benefit the Backpack Buddies organization, and we started soliciting sponsorships from area businesses, and support was just overwhelming. We hosted the event on a Friday night, dinner, silent auction, entertainment, had close to 250 people turn out for the event, and when everything was all said and done, we were able to raise almost $80,000 for the Backpack Buddies, which is enough to support the entire program and feed those 500 children for the entire school year.
One of the stories that we were told from a little boy who received his first pack is he was amazed and he said, "Is all this food for me?"
You know, it's really great to see these ag companies stepping up in their community and becoming the leader in the drive to feed kids in their community. And what they tell me is that the reward is far greater than the effort.
It's been one of the most rewarding things in my life, being involved in this program over the last year. It has opened my eyes to so many new things that I was not aware of in our community, how many people really need our help, and how much my efforts can make a difference.
I've put in a lot of personal time into this program, and it is so rewarding knowing that I'm helping this 90 to 100 kids every weekend.
It's a service project. You're doing it for something other than money, when in reality you're trying to raise money to support feeding hungry children. And then it's also just the satisfaction of being able to go home at night, to get up in the morning, look myself in the mirror, and know that I'm doing and I did that for someone other than myself. One of the stories that's near to my heart is when we put the first event together and raised money for the school in Sioux Central. You know, we presented that at a school board meeting, and we partnered with a ministry group, an ecumenical ministry group that was non-denominational, and there was an elderly woman that was part of that, and she was there, she was in attendance at this meeting, and as we walked away from that board meeting, I just remember her stopping in the hallway and with tears in her eyes said, "You know, we just put this committee together. We didn't know how we were going to raise any money to be able to feed hungry kids, but we knew that we just had to do something. And then you guys came along," and she said, "I just can't tell you how much that was an answer to prayer and a godsend." You know, and she gave me a hug right there in the hall. I had never met her before, but you know you're reaching people's hearts when that happens.
The exciting thing for us that we've seen since the inception is, you know, it never was really designed that for us, for NutriBlend to be the sole driver in this. Our vision was more so, if we could start something and it expands way outside of even our original thinking, how fantastic would that be? And how fantastic would it be that all of these communities all around the U.S. that have agriculture in them, raising food for the world, are also now looked at as, hey, these are the people that are feeding kids in our area that really need the food. I mean, the food insecure kids don't have enough to eat. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. How awesome would it be if the ag community is looked at as that entity that's driving that?
You'd be surprised at how many people are sitting there saying, "You know what, I've been wanting to do something and just didn't have any direction." You know, well, it's up to us. Provide the direction. That's what NutriBlend did. They provided the direction. You know, they gave us a vision, and then they provided direction. And that same thing can be taken locally. You know, paint that vision for your community. Paint the vision of the hungry kids. Educate the people, but then do something. You know, give them an avenue that they can rally around and support.
If you don't understand there's a need, you haven't looked into it. If you don't think you have enough time to do the program, you know, you need to sit down and consider what else you're doing, because it doesn't take a lot of time and there is a great need. So, you know, just get out there and do it.
It's an argument that, well, that's mom and dad's responsibility. So where are the parents? Why aren't they providing for them? You know, those are all good questions. Those are good arguments to make. But in the end, who's suffering? You know, just because mom and dad won't provide them that meal, that child's still hungry. Is it the child's fault? You know, no. I mean, yeah, maybe mom and dad's, you know, but where are they going to get their food? Does that mean that's the reason I shouldn't give? Is that the reason that I shouldn't participate in this? Is that the reason that I shouldn't spend the time and the energy to have an event to see if we can raise money? Is that the reason I shouldn't give at all? I don't think so.
Definitely reach out to other programs because they are more than willing to help you.
Feeding hungry children is important, and in fact, it's biblical. I mean, we're called to do that.
Why wouldn't we, in the ag industry, when our whole world really, truly, at the end of the day, drives to figure out how we're going to feed the world, we better start at home.
If you're in the ag industry, you know, this is all about you, because really, as you look at what is our mission and what is our purpose, yeah, you can have a lot of things on that list. You know, build a great team, make money, you know, return capital to our owners. You know, that list can go on. But in reality, when everything's set aside, we're in this to feed the world. So you can get involved. You can get involved in an organization like, you know, Feed the Kids. Host an event in your community. Get community support. You know, rally people around it, because it's a mission that's bigger than we are, and it's something that we can do to give back because we are so fortunate.
We can do it. The funny thing is, the money's there. The heart's just got to be in the right spot.
This is the drive to feed kids. Join the movement.